Hello Year 2. Today's learning point is, can I name different habitats and the animals and plants that live there? This is the second lesson that we've been talking about this. Do you remember last week we were looking at 5 different habitats? We started off comparing the very dry and hot savanna with a woodland that's dark and damp and cold and sometimes warm. This week, we're going to be comparing the jungle or a tropical rainforest, the polar regions, and the seashore and the sea. So let's have a look at the tropical rainforest. You find the tropical rainforest in Africa, South America, and parts of Asia. It is wet and very hot there. These are some of the animals that live in the tropical rainforest, which is made up from many, many trees and creepers and plants. And it's quite dark there, as you can see. So first of all, there's a toucan. Look at the brightly coloured, very big beak. He uses that to crack open its food. Here we have a brightly coloured macaw, which is a type of parrot. Look at those beautiful feathers. Sloths live in the trees. They live up quite high up in the trees. Look at those claws, the way that they have been developed to allow the sloth to hold on to the branches as it hangs, sometimes upside down. Tropical rainforests have lots of frogs, and you can see that the frog has pads on its feet to allow it to grip hold of leaves in damp conditions. There are many, many different types of monkeys that live in the rainforest, and monkeys or chimpanzees that we've heard about with Jane Goodall have fingers that allow them to make tools to help them find food, and also they have long tails which help them swing in the trees. Here is an anteater, and as you can see, the anteater has a very long nose to allow them to find ants in anthills. There are loads and loads of different insects in the rainforest. Look at this beautiful tropical butterfly. In the rivers and swamps in the rainforest, there are many alligators and crocodiles that live there. So here are just some of the amazing animals that live in the rainforest. The next habitat we're going to look at is the polar regions. Polar regions are very cold and icy. They're absolutely freezing and have a lot of snow and ice there. The polar regions are found at the North Pole in the Arctic and the South Pole in Antarctica. Well, here are some of the animals that live in the Arctic. The first is the polar bear. As you can see, the polar bear has very, very thick fur. The fur is actually see-through and reflects the white light from the snow, and that's why he's white. He's a very good swimmer, so he can hunt for food like fish. Here is an Arctic hare. This also is white, and the white fur allows it to hide from animals that might try and hunt it down. Here are some reindeers. Look at their amazing antlers. Again, they've got very thick fur, which allow them to keep warm in the freezing temperatures. Here is a walrus. Amazing tusks there. Walruses and seals have very thick fat on them called blubber, which allows them to keep warm in these cold temperatures. The seal here has a flipper that allows it to swim in the cold water to hunt for food. In Antarctica, where the South Pole is, there are penguins. These are emperor penguins. And again, they've got blubber on them to allow them to keep warm. And their wings help them to swim. So these are just some of the animals that live in the polar regions. Lastly, we're going to look at the sea and the seashore. The sea is obviously water, and it's mostly cold. There are warmer seas and colder seas depending on where they are on the earth. Their seas and seashores are found all around the earth. So here are just a few of the creatures, living things that live in the sea or in rock pools on beaches. First one is a crab, and the crab has a very hard shell around its body to help protect it from other animals. It has very sharp pincers as well. Here is a shrimp. You often find these in rock pools. If you go rock pooling, you might catch one in your net. This is a starfish. As you can see, starfish have little pads on the underneath of their the points of the star, and these help them to grip hold of rocks, and the points of the star also are flexible so they can move along in the water. This is a beautiful turtle. Turtles have flippers which move along to help them to swim. This is an octopus, and the octopus has 8 legs or 8 tentacles which move around and curl around and help them to swim in the water, but also to move across rocks as well. Again, they have suckers or pads on the underneath of their tentacles to allow them to grab hold of and stick to rocks. There are many, many different fish and whales and sharks and dolphins in the sea. They have fins to help them to move in the water and gills to help them breathe in the water. The last creature we've got here is, these are mussels. They're a type of shell that you might find in rock pools, and they have a soft creature inside. So most shells you see on the beach or in rock pools would have had a soft creature living inside, and the hard shell protects it from getting ruined or eaten by other creatures. So at the end of this video, you may want to take a look at the links to other videos that I've put underneath this video to tell you a bit more about the tropical rainforest, the polar regions, and the sea, and the types of creatures you'll find living there. Now, last weekend, I went on a walk and along the seafront, and I actually went and had a look in some of the rock pools on the beach. So here is a quick clip about my rock pooling experience last weekend.
Hi Year 2. On my daily exercise I've come down to the seafront near the marina, and I've just had a walk along under the cliffs, and I've noticed that there's some lovely rock pools here. Where the sea has gone out, the tide has gone out, it's left these rock pools here, and I know there's lots of living things that live here, so I'm just going to have a look and to see what I can find. So I found quite a deep rock pool here. Let's take a closer look. Well, the first thing I notice is this. This is called a cuttlefish bone, and it comes from a cuttlefish, which is similar to an octopus or a squid, and this would have been washed up from the sea. There's some seaweed here, some green seaweed, some brown seaweed, and some reddy brown seaweed growing on that rock there. On this rock here there are some periwinkles. They look a bit like snails, but actually they've got soft creatures that live inside them, and they live in the sea. Oh, there's a mussel here. It's a black shell, and inside again a soft creature would live in there. Over here, can you notice what look like tentacles? That's called a sea anemone. If I put my finger on there very, very gently, oh, lost it, like that, I can feel that it's sucking on my finger. You have to be very, very gentle though. Well, there's lots of things that live here. Oh, look, over here, there's something that looks like a sponge, but it's actually an egg case from a fish that lives in the sea. Well, I know in these rock pools there are also crabs and shrimps. And if you're really lucky, you might even spot a starfish. And out in the sea, you can just about see it there. There are fish and dolphins and whales and jellyfish. Lots of amazing creatures. So I've had a lovely time rock pooling today. Maybe you could come down here with your family on your daily exercise and have a look in the rock pools to see what you can find. Or maybe you want to wait until the spring or the summer when it's a bit warmer.
Now we've learnt about which animals live in which habitats, I wonder if you can help me sort these animals onto the right habitat. Have a look at the animals and decide where you think they may live. I'm going to have a go at sorting them. So I've now sorted the animals into the correct habitats. Did you manage to do that as well and get the animals in the right place? As you can see, in the tropical rainforest, we've got the alligator or crocodile and the frog near the water. We've got the parrot up in the trees. We've got the butterfly flying up in the air. We've got the monkey, probably a chimpanzee, up in the trees. And the anteater down on the ground looking for ants. In the sea, we've got the octopus and the turtle and the whale or shark or fish swimming in the sea. And we've got the mussel and the crab and the starfish on the beach or the rock pools. But they also like swimming in the sea. Mussels, of course, like attaching to rocks. In the polar region, you can see that there's the Arctic hare, reindeer, polar bear, seal and walrus that all live in the North Pole in the Arctic. There's also the penguin there that you'll only find in Antarctica, where the South Pole is. So for your activity this week, I would like you to find these 4 sheets in the pack, the new pack, which you'll be getting later on this week. I'd love you to cut round all of these animals and then sort them into the right habitat. And then if you could stick the animals onto the correct sheets. Have fun doing this. Also, I'd love you to watch the videos which show the polar region, the tropical rainforest and the sea and seashore. And they show all the lovely animals which live in each one of those habitats. The links for these videos can be found underneath this video on the Year 2 playlist on our school YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy watching the videos. Bye Year 2.